Hey guys, before the video begins, I'd like you to know that I have a Twitter account over at @carthusdojo. Go ahead, follow me, tweet at me, and I'll reply to anything you send my way. Now, video intro. Hello and welcome to another episode of Everything Important. This is the series where I tell you what important things happened in the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super. This week is the 1 hour special! So let's jump into it. The only thing important that Ribrianne did this episode was ask Goku what he'd wish for with the Super Dragon Balls. Interestingly enough, he does have an answer. And that initial answer isn't a selfish one. He says that he'd use it for Chi-Chi or his sons, or if not them, then maybe he'd wish for a person stronger than anyone he's ever fought. This is really interesting, as it shows a shift in Goku's nature. For all intents and purpose, Goku is a selfish character, motivated solely by his own desires. But here we see that the first people to come to his mind when thinking of granting any wish were his family, and that is not only telling of Goku, but it's also touching. After Ribrianne is easily taken care of by Goku, Belmod determines that now is the right time to have Jiren reveal his strength. This in itself isn't interesting, but the method used to speak to Jiren is. Jiren and Belmod speak telepathically, something that we don't see in the other universes. Most of the other universes are actually speaking aloud to communicate. I don't think this affected the 1 hour special in a meaningful way, but it may have an impact on the story later on, i.e. divulging weaknesses that are not as clearly seen by Jiren or the other Pride Troopers. As Jiren starts to move forward, he emits an immense ki. But for right now, that's very expected and thusly uninteresting. The important point here is how Toppo responds to Jiren on the move. Toppo tells Jiren to fight to his heart's content, so he can obtain the Super Dragon Balls to grant his wish. So much to ask there. What is Jiren's wish? Does he have a loved one that died? Does he want a strong opponent like Goku wants? Or something crazier? I'm open to any and all theories at this point, so comment yours down below. Small point that I don't want to dwell on, Jiren emits even more ki. That ki was strong enough to surprise even Beerus, further proving my point that Beerus didn't know who the mortal stronger than the God of Destruction was. Until now. Goku starts the fight by attacking Jiren with every Super Saiyan form, -3 for some reason, and he uses them to try and pull out Jiren's full potential, but he quickly discovers that none of these forms will be able to do that, so Super Saiyan Blue has to do. This really does show off Jiren's immense strength pretty well, and sets the stage for a fight that can't be easily won. Side note, this is the first time in a while that the Super Saiyan Blue transformation was animated using the peeling ki. Very nice to see it again. Belmod says that Super Saiyan Blue is useless against Jiren, but the Supreme Kai has a different view. He believes that by having Jiren beat the strongest form of Goku, it will hurt the fighting spirits of all the other universes, and ensures an easy victory overall. In honesty, this could have been true for some of the fighters, but later on we see that this isn't true at all. I'll talk more about that scene later. Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20 couldn't even scratch Jiren, so he sees no other option than to use the Genki Dama. Interestingly, despite Goku saying this would take too long to charge the full power, Jiren says he's willing to wait so that he may see the full power of this trump card. This actually reveals that Goku and Jiren are alike personality-wise, since they both want to fight the strongest versions of their opponents, not overpower someone without seeing their true potential. Also, the power of the Genki Dama was what Goku deemed able to beat Jiren when Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20 couldn't, so that means the Genki Dama was stronger than that. Add on to the fact that Goku can add to the Genki Dama, when it's formed, the power of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20, this makes it an insane feat that Jiren was actually able to push it back. Small point, Vegeta doesn't help in the creation of the Genki Dama. This is a really weird and unexplained stance that actually makes Frieza seem more sensible than Vegeta. I get the fact that Vegeta wants to fight Jiren, most likely, but that doesn't account for him not helping in saving his universe. As the Genki Dama tug-of-war continues, Krillin says that the Genki Dama was the trump card that always saved them, and I have to wonder if Krillin really knows when that move's been used. Yes, it did defeat Kid Buu, but the 2 other times it was used, it failed. It didn't kill Vegeta or Frieza, and one of those failures costed Krillin his life. It's weird to pretend that it's their secret weapon that always works when it has a really low win rate, especially now. Another small point. We get to see the Universe 6 Namekians again, this time not in a group shot or on the God Pad, but instead during their fights. Pretty glad to see them slowly making more appearances, and I can't wait to have them in the spotlight in the future. As Jiren is staring at the Genki Dama and forcing it back through sheer willpower, Whis comments that Jiren's power is similar to that of a Hakaishin. He then states that the rumors of a mortal stronger than the God of Destruction appear true. This surprised me, as from his wording in episode 93, Whis seemed like he knew who that mortal was. But this proves that he didn't. This, of course, also proved me right again, because I called the fact that Jiren would be the mortal, and I called it for a long time, despite some of the curveballs thrown at us along the way. For those who want more than just Whis' statement to confirm this, Belmod himself said earlier that Jiren doesn't lose, and that he can beat anyone. Not just mortals, and it's not just that he hasn't been beaten, he can't lose, even to Belmod. So this case is finally closed. Small point, the Genki Dama exploded between Goku and Jiren as opposed to on Goku as many people thought it would. This was another thing that I called, but it's not too important in the grand scheme of things. The Genki Dama explosion leaves only Jiren standing and no sign of Goku anywhere. Elder Kai thinks that taking a blast that large head-on caused Goku to be vaporized. Surprisingly, this wouldn't count as a disqualification for Jiren, as it was Goku's own attack. This is a realistic stipulation, since you don't want people trying to martyr themselves in order to disqualify strong enemies. Going back to an earlier point, Universe 11's plan seems to have failed, since many of the fighters remaining close in on Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo, despite seeing Jiren's crazy strength. After everyone accepts Goku's supposed demise and moves on to continue the fight, the Grand Priest makes a really weird and out-of-tone speech. This is a fairly big talking point that I think will do better in the comments, but let me discuss my thoughts on it a bit here. It's cold. Regardless of who dies, regardless of who's erased, until this pillar hits the floor, you must fight. The music and tone of voice were so eerie and unsettling that I felt like a villain in a horror movie making some grand speech. It was condescending, unfeeling, and downright aggravating. It's another point to add to the Grand Priest is evil or has ulterior motives checklist. On the other end of that, we have Beerus' little moment. This is warm, caring, and down to earth. Beerus seemed crushed that Goku was gone, surprised that he didn't rise to the challenge as he had seen him do for their entire acquaintanceship. And when Goku finally returns, Beerus' eyes light up as he proclaims, he's coming. The Goku he knew was going to take this fight in the only way he could, through breaking his limits. As Beerus is proclaiming Goku's return, there is an energy shaking the entire world of Void. The only power capable of doing this so far was Jiren's. But now, Goku is replicating the feat as insight to the closing of their power gap. An excellent way for the audience to know something has changed drastically, and not just the idea of Goku being dead or alive. The crater where the Genki Dama exploded is obviously the source of the shaking. But what is it? We all know, it's Goku's new form, and it's intense. He looks up at the remainder of Team Universe 11, and in the same instant, he's already launching a kick at Jiren. But even more impressive is that Toppo and Dispo couldn't see it at all. And even more impressive than that is the fact that Jiren dodges this kick to even Goku's surprise. Goku is able to graze Jiren and leave some minor damage. This is a huge improvement from earlier, but it also proves that Goku gained not only a new ability, but also strength and speed. We also see him effortlessly dodge all attacks that come his way, including Toppo's Justice Flash, which is a very, very powerful ki attack. We find out that Goku is using the Ultra Instinct ability, which is what Whis referred to in the Resurrection of F-Arc when he was training Goku and Vegeta. This ability allows the user to have some body movements occur on their own without any prior thought required. Essentially, it gives you instantaneous reaction speeds, but according to the other universe's gods, it's even hard for gods to achieve. So Goku using it is almost unimaginable. As all the gods, including Beerus, are surprised by this sudden development, Whis explains that the Genki Dama most likely triggered it. I have a video coming out later today explaining it in an understandable way, but just know this form was not caused by absorbing the Genki Dama's energy. Like I said, I will discuss this more in a video later today, so keep an eye out for that. Small point, in the scene on the screen currently, a lot of people believe Goku and Jiren are flying. But no, they're just falling slowly like in Dragon Ball days. If you look at the way Goku's shirt is blowing and the background, it's much more clear that they are going down, not up. After Goku is ultimately returned to base form and defeated by Jiren, Vegeta asks what happened to him and how. But even Goku doesn't know. It was something that was brought out of him without his knowing, and it wasn't something he had prior knowledge of. Frieza takes Goku while Vegeta isn't looking, and he starts charging a blast at him. He also says that he's having memories of Namek. This is most likely Frieza about to grant Goku energy, the same way Goku did to him on Namek. And finally, for point 25, this was unintentional. There are 25 minutes left in the tournament, so we're almost at the halfway point. But that's it. Everything important in the 1 hour special. There are no ramblings in review this week because I took care of that in a different video that you can watch by clicking here. Summed up short, I thought the episode was better than I could have imagined. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinions and counterpoints in the comments down below and subscribe if you want more Dragon Ball videos. But for now, video outro!